Hi you guys, welcome to the latest video. My name's Derek, also known as Tap Peddler. Today I'm going to take you through all the sales I made on Etsy between December and January. And then hopefully I'll be able to do one for the month of February when that ends. I thought it would be interesting because I'm not really the average Etsy seller. The stuff I sell is slightly different to what other people might sell on Etsy. So yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to show you what I've actually sold on there. Join me as I show you what I sold. Okay, so these placemats sold. These are vintage Pimpanel placemats. All these items were cross-listed onto eBay, by the way. So they're on eBay as well as Etsy. So these are Old English pubs, and from the 80s, and these sold for £34.90, which includes the postage. And these are actually off to Australia. They got sent to a UK buyer, who then I think they were going to forward them on for a Christmas present. And I got positive feedback from it, and yeah, they were very pleased with them. So they're a really nice set. Had the Pimpanel stickers on the reverse. Fortunately, no box, but as you can see here, this is the type of thing it was. They were really nice. And what I do, I always put a picture of all the backs of the placemats. Because then you can see the condition, because there's always some staining and that sort of thing to them from age. The next item was this vintage Interstate 6030 radio cassette player. I actually changed the belts in this, so I was able to advertise it as having new belts. Nice item again, cleaned up reasonably well. There was some sort of staining to the top that didn't come out very easily. But nice vintage item, and this sold for £46.90 with the postage. It's a doctor's briefcase stroke bag. It's in tan leather, and this sold for £36.90. Really nice thing. This one actually came from a Facebook pickup. I was picking up some video cassettes, and he actually had this on sale as well, so I picked that at the same time. So yeah, lots of profit there, and it went to London. Okay, so these chairs sold. It was £109.94 with the postage. I have multiples of these. I've got like, I don't know, about 50 of them or something, maybe even more than that. And I've been doing bundles of just the one, I've got a pair, and I've got a bundle of 4. This case, the pair sold. And this was off to Hartley Wintry, and yeah, a nice sale. I always have to pick out the best ones I can out of my collection of these, and then when I come to the more rougher ones, I'll retake the photos, I think. But at the moment, the photos have a good reflection of what the chairs look like. Next item was this vintage slinky toy. This sold for £13.95, and I bought this at a car boot sale. It took a long time to sell. As I said before, everything on here is also on eBay, but yeah, I didn't think this was going to sell. I thought this might end up having to get donated or something, but eventually it sold. Had to reduce the price a bit. It's a nice thing, 1950s toy in the box, but yeah, only really went for £13.95, including the postage. So not as good as I thought it would be. This is a Fisher Price farm. I got this, I think, it was over from the car boot sale or from the auction. I'm a feeling this might have been the auction, as part of like a job lot of things. And yeah, it didn't come with any figures or anything like that. It was literally what you see in the photos. I did take photos of the barn door opening and that sort of thing. There was a noise it made as well, that made like a moo sound, or was supposed to be a moo sound. That, yeah, it was quite nice. It's from 1990, I think. And that sold for £26.90. Took a bit to package that because it's quite fragile and quite bulky, but yeah, not too bad. This is an item that I bought at the car boot sale. I actually bought two of these. One of these sold on eBay, and the other one is sold on Etsy. And this one sold for £20.70. Had to be well packaged, as you'd expect with something that's ceramic. But it's, yeah, vintage Johnny Walker ashtray from a pub. Somebody wanted that for their collection, I'm sure. There was a couple of little marks on it which I declared, and it's a weighed one, which is, and there you go. I was just highlighting a little mark there, and there's the measurements. Yeah, so good item to sell though, from the 80s. This is a tin that I got as a collection of vintage tins. I had loads of them from a contact. This one sold quite surprisingly, actually, because I thought this one wouldn't be a very popular one. In the end, they've all sold actually, but this one sold fairly quickly, for £16.70. And how I took the photos here, I showed the measurements in all the different dimensions, the bottom of the tin. There you go, the best before date there, 31st of October 1992. Just adds the date basically so people can see what the date was. And I took a picture of the inside as well, because they always get a bit tarnished. But yeah, really nice item. This is a vintage hanging barometer that I think I got this from an auction. And I didn't really think it was worth that much, but when I actually came to look it up, I noticed that it was worth quite a bit, and I sold it for £34.90. It was quite big, so it needed well packaging. So all these were glass, but yeah, it had the thermometer still on it, which I think is quite rare. And strictly speaking, I probably shouldn't have put it on eBay because they don't allow mercury. I'm not sure about Etsy's views on that. But yeah, it did sell. That's the back of it there. Nice item, and I put some measurements on there as well. Yeah, to get that price for it, I was quite surprised. This was there was an issue with this because it turns out that I had this, because I cross-list everything, this actually sold on eBay and Etsy pretty much at the same time, which is obviously a bit of an issue. It very, very rarely happens, so I always get the chance to end the item on the other platform. In this case, I was a bit unlucky and somebody did buy it twice, basically, on eBay and Etsy. I honoured the eBay sale, mainly because eBay is my main platform. I want to make sure I keep the feedback, etc., etc. With Etsy, I messaged the buyer and just said, sorry, the Deccolor video recorder is no longer available. I can either refund you or send you a different video cassette recorder. And because it's likely that the person just wanted a video recorder, I mean, Decca Color is not a good brand. They probably only wanted it to watch videos on. And because I've got lots of other video recorders, I sent them a different video recorder. I think it was a Sanyo one I sent them instead of the Decca Color one. It looked very, very similar. Fully worked in the same way. Because they didn't reply to me on Etsy. I never heard anything from them. So it was either a case of refunding them or sending them something. So I sent them basically the wrong video recorder to what they purchased. But they were happy with it and they left positive feedback. So I'm assuming they didn't really care, they just wanted a video recorder. And it turns out they actually ended up getting a slightly better one than the Decca Color one, better brand. But it did actually sell for £41.90 with the postage. How I do these, I take photos of the top, the sides. I always try to take a picture of it playing a videotape, because that always proves that it's working. Take a picture of the back, take a picture of the label, etc. So yeah, and I bundled a skirt lead with it. This was an interesting item. It came from the auctions as part of a big job lot, and it's sold for £21.90, which includes postage. And it's a vintage berth rack. It's extendable, so you can make it longer depending on the width of your berth. And it had those two soap trays attached to it. It took me a while to find out the brand on this, but it is actually underneath the soap trays there, and I did a bit of research and it had value. I didn't think this would be worth anything, but yeah, £21.90, it's good for a vintage item like that. Okay, so this is a vintage deck chair. A nice one, you know, the proper type of deck chair, all folds up, made of wood with the material, nice condition for its age. I got £84.94 for this, which includes the postage. There was a little bit of an issue with the postage, which I'll probably have a video coming up soon. But because it was such a large item, it was quite a lot to send. I think it was about £30 to post this. But hence the £84.94 I got for it. But I got charged an oversized fee from the parcel company. I'm in dispute with them at the moment, and there's probably going to be a video on that because it's quite a hefty fee. I won't go into it anymore, but yeah, there was issues. The customer got the item and was very happy with it, but yeah, I've got this ongoing dispute with the parcel company about this. But yeah, really nice item though, really nice. And that came from the auctions as well. Okay, so this is another video recorder. This is a Hitachi video recorder. Okay, with the skirt lead and the power supply. Again, I put a picture of it playing a tape there. I also tried to put some detail about what it does, you know, like NTSC on this one. It's got long play. And I take a picture of all the different angles and the model numbers, that sort of thing. And this sold for £46.90, which is a good price for one of these on Etsy. Okay, this is something you probably saw at a car boot sale haul I did around sort of the start of November, I think. This is a picnic hamper in a leather case. I thought it was going to be binoculars when I first picked it up at the car boot sale. But no, I opened it up and it was actually a flask inside, so it was a bit surprising, and I didn't realise this was going to be worth so much. It was a nice, really nice item at the end of the day, very retro looking, and I ended up selling it for £34.90, which is a fantastic price. Really nice, and I put the keywords here: VW camper, classic caravan, that sort of thing. So yeah, really happy with that sale. This one is a vintage St. Michael cork-backed placemat, set of 6, and it also came with the coasters, matching coasters as well, in the original packaging. I got this from the auctions. I took it out of the packaging just to take all the photos. As you can see here, some different details. There was a bit of damage to the outer box, as you can see, but yeah, really nice retro item there, and that achieved £28.70, including the postage. So that was nice. That was nice. That was. This Tiffany lamp was something I bought at the auctions as well. Paid up a little bit for this lot just to get this lamp, but I got some other things with it as well. As you can see here, I put the measurements in. This was a nice heavy item with the glass. This was a nice heavy item with the glass, and it sold for £69.94, including the postage there. Really nice. Yeah, obviously this required a lot of packaging up very carefully, just to make sure that it got there in one piece. I can't remember whether I took the shade off to post it. I think I did. I think I took the shade off and wrapped that separately. Yeah, really good that. Okay, this is something I didn't actually know what it was to begin with. I got this at a car boot sale in November. I think it was in one of my car boot hauls, and it ended up being a jack boot pull. So it got a bit of leather on there as well, and the rubber, and it sold for £33.70, which was fantastic. I was surprised that this was worth so much, but yeah, it was, and achieved a really nice price. Yeah, so excellent. Okay, so the next item is this retro style camera. Picked this off my death pile and listed it. It came with the box. It actually came from the auction. It had a bit of staining on the box, which I wasn't really sure what that is, but it was basically brand new in the box. I did take out the box so I could take some good photos, and this sold for £9.95 with the postage. So not a great deal on that one, but all helps, and it was a nice item to go to somebody who's going to appreciate it. This was an interesting thing. Again, it came from the auctions. I put all the measurements for this because people want to know how big these things are. A nice like carved wooden thing. It took a while to sell this. I thought this would fly out, but it took a little bit longer than normal. But I put all the measurements here. As you can see, it was a vintage Pigott brand, which I'd never heard of. But this sold for £31.90, which is pretty good, I think, for one of them. This is a vintage Wigan camera in the case. This was from the death pile. I'm not sure when I got this. I probably would have got this from an auction. That's usually where I pick up these sort of cameras from, as part of like a job lot. And this sold for £19.95 plus postage on that one, which is a good price for one of these, I think. Sort of top price in the condition it's in. Obviously being in the case really helped it. That actually sold to the same buyer that bought this, which is it's a retro style telephone, so it's not actually that old, but it's in the style of a rotary telephone. And the good thing about this is that you can still use it with modern systems, you know. So say if you got to press, you know, 1 to speak to the operator, 2 to you know, go through to the claims department, 3 to put in a complaint, or whatever the options are. You can do that with one of these. You can't do that with the original rotary phones. So people want these. As you can see, it's by Next. So strictly speaking, it wasn't really vintage, but it's still sold on Etsy. And it's sold for £29.95, and of course that includes postage, but because the buyer also bought that camera, the combined postage was £4.95 I charged, so the whole order came to £54.85, which was really good. So yeah, very nice order there. Okay, so the next item that sold was this vintage 3D floral hand painted wall plaque, which came from the auctions again, and a big job lot. I didn't really see any value in this, to be honest with you, initially, but it's got a it's been hand finished or hand painted, and it's got the maker's or the painter's signature there. I'd put some measurements on it. And yeah, I didn't realise the value of it until I started looking it up and stuff, and I listed it quite high at £46.90, and it sold. So really happy with that. This took a lot of packaging because it was so big, and I had to protect it because obviously being a sort of, it was like a plaster effect on it. I think it is actually plaster, so it had to be really well packaged and protected with bubble wrap, and I wrapped cardboard around it and went in a big large box, but it got there fine. Yeah, £46.90, which is excellent. This is something I picked up at the car boot sale towards the end of last year, probably November, early December. It's a primer duck popper, which is a popcorn maker. These were quite popular in the 80s, 90s. I think this was like a 90s version, I think. And it sold for £41.90, including the postage. Really nice. And I took photos of all in its different configurations and different angles, just so people can see the how clean it is, that sort of thing. It didn't look like it had been used, to be honest with you. It looked in really good condition. This little wooden box sold. I didn't think this would go for so much, but this actually sold for £23.70. This is the little wooden box. There's nothing great to say about it, really. The detail on it isn't anything to sort of speak of, but it was a lovely little box. I looked on Etsy and eBay for similar ones, and there was quite a few similar ones, and I put that it was from the 1970s, and that was based on all the other stuff that was in the bundle, because I bought it from an auction and it came in a box full of vintage 60s and 70s items, so that's why I dated it 70s. And yeah, somebody really liked it and they bought it for £23.70. Okay, this was a Wicker pet carrier that again I bought from the auctions as part of a Wicker lot. I think I bought some baskets with it, and this is ideal for a cat or a small dog or a rabbit, that sort of thing. Really nice little basket to hold your pet. I think somebody had added this cushion at some point. I don't think that was original, but I added that in. So obviously somebody can make use of that. And this sold for £36.90. Okay, one of these sold. Well, actually both of these have sold, because I did a job lot of these. It's 2 kilogram weight, so 4 kilograms in total. These came with a set of scales I was given by my local Hermes shop. It was clearing it out, and I've got the scales on sale. They haven't sold yet, but I sold the weights separately because I didn't actually go with the scales. So I took some measurements, took various photos of different angles. There you go, that's the original Post Office Royal Mail stamp on there. This will probably be from the, I think they were from the 90s. I think there was something written on them that made me think, I think that 374 is the type of item, and then 96 is the date. So I'm thinking these from the 90s. I'm not 100% sure though, but they still sold for £34.90 for the pair. Obviously they're 4 kilograms, and that's before any packaging, so the postage was a fair bit on it, but they didn't actually take up much of a space in the box because they weren't actually that big. As you can see here, they're just 9 centimeters long, and I put them in one of those green Hermes eBay boxes. So they were really heavy, but a tiny little box. It probably surprised the Hermes driver. But yeah, they sold, which was good. And the final item I'm going to show you today is this vintage mid-century wall mirror that I got from the car boot sale quite a while ago now. I got a set of 3 mirrors, and this was the last one to sell. It's from the 1970s. I took it at various angles. There was a couple of little marks. Had the chain on the back there. Took all the measurements so people can see. It's difficult to get a picture of the mirror without showing other things in the background. But I think I managed it here, just angled it the right way, and this sold for £49.94, which again is a brilliant price. Took a lot of packaging again, as you'd expect. Large mirror. It's no small feat to get that packaged up, but it arrived fine. Hermes did a good job again. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you did, please leave a thumbs up on the video. Give me a like. Think about subscribing if you haven't already. Yeah, make sure you do that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of the sales. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye for now.